And welcome, everybody. Good morning, Mountains, as we are live here from Warfield, Kentucky. JJ, my great co-host, is live in Man, West Virginia, and it is a rainy, dreary morning here in Warfield. JJ, what's the weather like in Man?
The weather is very similar, and I checked the forecast earlier, and it looks like for the next couple of days it's going to be very dreary as well. And that's just something that I hate because the 4th of July is going to be coming up really soon, and I would much rather see some sunny weather instead of this stuff that we're dealing with right now.
Yes, this by the way, this first segment is sponsored by Kentucky Mountain Health Alliance, which includes Quantum Health, East Kentucky Chiropractic, and Little Flower Clinic. Right now, Little Flower Clinic is celebrating Men's Health Awareness Month in the month of June. Go see our friends at Little Flower Clinic in Hazard, Kentucky. All right, JJ, there's no bones, no quarrels about it, I don't guess. There is two big stories that led the nation last night, and one of them was the NBA draft, and one of them was the presidential debate. I'm gonna let you think about what you want to talk about, but I'll tell you what, we'll go ahead. You pick which one you want to start the show with.
Okay, since the presidential debate is going to be one that's most likely going to last for a lot of the show, I think we can start out with something, a little different. We can go with Bronny James being the number 55 pick in the second round. And Darryl, would you like to know who he actually got drafted by?
Let me guess. You could give me a million guesses, and I don't think I'd ever guess it.
The Los Angeles Lakers.
I think that's the worst kept secret in the world, and I think they was the only team that was going to draft Bronny.
Actually, he went number 55, and I believe there was 58 total picks in the draft. So he was like third to last when he finally got drafted. And the thing that was the most hilarious to me is just watching the people in the front office, how happy they were that, they was able to get him. But really, it's like, what were you happy about? Were you happy because he was going to be somebody that could contribute to your team immediately? Or are you happy that you get to keep, the other person on the team finally?
Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts on that. I mean, but here's the main thing. You look at Bronny James's stats. I think he averaged like 4 points, 2 rebounds a game last year at USC. All right, you tell me if this kid can play in the NBA against the best in the world, that he would average 4 points at USC. I mean, that's my issue with it is, they're not, to me, that's what it was about. And listen, sometimes maybe the Lakers, don't need that player, because the Lakers did, in my mind, got one of the steals of the draft in the first round in Dalton Connect out of Tennessee. So, maybe, that was a thing where, like, okay, we only got so many roster spots anyways, so we might as well capitalize on this marketability. And if you know anything about the Lakers, they are Showtime. So, they're going to have the world watching them again, because everybody's going to want to see Bronny and LeBron. When will they hit the court together?
Absolutely. And I believe that they said this is going to be the first time in NBA history that a father and son are actually going to be able to have the opportunity to play with each other.
Oh, wow. I can't think of any. I mean, I've thought I can remember brothers, but I don't think I ever remember father and son. That's something that you don't see often.
Yeah. I didn't mean to cut you off. Yeah, absolutely. And you see fathers and coaches,
Yep.
But the fathers and sons is something that you never get to see. I mean, it's like we were talking yesterday. I believe 1989 may have been the last time we saw something like that with Ken Griffey Sr. and Ken Griffey Jr.
Yes, and I remember I remember impatiently waiting to see them play together, and that's something the world will be connected to this, and everybody will be tuning in. I promise you, it'll be one of the most watched ball games in the history of NBA basketball when it happens, because ESPN and them, they're going to blow it up.
Absolutely. And, there's a huge difference between, the Griffeys and the Jameses. I mean, Ken Griffey Sr. had, I think, 3 World Series championships. And, Ken Griffey Jr. went on to be one of the best baseball players ever. So this is, it's going to be appealing to watch, but I don't,
Well, we got our friend Linda Spurlock. She's tuning in, giving her thought process. She says nepotism said never has worked, and it's not going to work with him.
Yeah.
So we appreciate that, Linda. And I don't know. Like I said, the Lakers. I think that was a throwaway pick. I don't care whether they picked him or not. At the end of the day, I wish the best for the kid. He's a good kid. But is it right that a kid like Jack Gohlke out of Oakland, that just lit Kentucky up, one of the best shooters, in college basketball last year, isn't going to get to play in the NBA because somebody took a flyer on LeBron's son? Is it right that Justin Edwards from Kentucky went undrafted? Is it right? I mean, you can make a lot of connections, to other players that should have been drafted, but the Lakers, it's about selling tickets too, and that's one thing this will do, is sell tickets.
Absolutely, and making a profit at the end of the day to them is one of the most important things, and they will definitely make a profit this year. I don't know if it's going to be his final season or not. I don't want to get quoted on that, but could you imagine if this is his final season and he gets a chance to play with his son? Like, what kind of storylines it's going to be?
Not a chance is this going to be his final season. He'll play. I would say 2 to 3 more seasons, and that way he can get his feet wet. He'll play at least. I think 3 seasons is LeBron's limit, because I think he's going to try to dictate and try to show what. At the end of the day, I think he will try to, control what goes on in Bronny's first part of his career. So, if he don't pan out for the Lakers, I think LeBron will try to make some moves to get him on another roster or something somewhere.
And that makes sense when you put it that way. It's like, my first thought was maybe, he wants to play with his son and then, just call it a day. But then when you say it like that, it's like, well, okay, that does make sense that he maybe wants to try to make sure that he is able to stay in the NBA.
Yeah.
And he thinks that maybe if he stays in, it doesn't retire for a couple of years, he'll actually be able to help him stay in the league and possibly develop or just stay there in general.
That's just my thought process. I think that's what he's, I think LeBron is good enough, to have a solid year this year. He'll have a good year, next year, and then you'll start seeing it go downhill. The only guy that we've ever seen defy and challenge Father Time was Tom Brady.
Yeah, and he did a terrific job. And honestly, I think that he could play today. I may be a little biased because he's one of my all-time favorite players, but with the way that the rules are set up today in the NFL, I'd be very surprised if he couldn't get out there and at least take a team to the playoffs.
Listen, I didn't want it to end. I'm one of them guys that I was a Jordan guy. I did not like Kobe. I did not like Tom Brady, earlier in their careers. I couldn't stand them. But there come a point in their career, and it was probably like past the halfway point as they're starting to go down, like right when they reach their peak. When okay, they're going to start going down. Whenever I become big fans of theirs, because I'm a fan of greatness, and
Absolutely.
if I can see greatness in my lifetime, I root for it. So I ended up becoming a huge fan of both of them, Brady and Kobe. And be honest, I tell you a guy that same way. I wasn't a big fan, but now I'm rooting hard for him because I want to see, another Tom Brady-ish run. I want to see another, great run in my lifetime. So I'm rooting hard for Pat Mahomes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's a phenomenal player. And, if you look at the way that his career has started and the way that Tom Brady's career has started, I mean, they virtually won, I believe, the exact same amount of Super Bowls. So it will be very interesting to see, what he does on the back end. Because that's what was so crazy about Brady is, he did really well in his 20s. And then, like, once he hit his late 30s and early 40s, it's like he just flipped the switch and, he literally had 3 Hall of Fame careers. I mean, and that's what's crazy. He had his first 3 rings. He was the quarterback, but his numbers weren't really that good. And then the next decade, like his numbers like were astronomical. And then the next couple of years after that, he goes on to win a couple more Super Bowls, and it's like that's insane. For somebody to win 7, I mean that's unheard of.
Well, we got it's come to that point, but we got a lot of comments coming in. We're going to read them whenever we leave, or we're going to read them your comments when we come back, folks. But make sure you continue to hit that share button, get them out there. And when we come back, JJ, I'm going to tell you why I think the D&D Sports Network Morning Startup Show will be one of the best shows coming and going, and a show that's going to last. I'm going to give you why I think that when we come back. Plus, we're going to get to the presidential debate. We got a load of stuff to talk about. I'm going to talk about what my plans are for this weekend, something that's huge for athletes in the mountains. And then we're going to talk about the EA Hoop Dream Summer League as well, that we covered over the past week, done the championship last night. I will release first team, second team, and player of the year in that league. So make sure you guys come right back and join us here after the commercial break. You're watching the D&D Sports Network Morning Startup Show.
Started right here on this farm. We may have grown over the years, but we've never lost sight of what was important to us. We're continuing that tradition today, and we always will be for generations to come.
High School. Continue to follow D&D Sports, best coverage in the mountains.
Walters Kia. By now you know Kia is a great vehicle, and you know they come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. So why should you buy from Bruce Walters Kia? At Bruce Walters Kia, we're going to change your oil for free for life. And what you do with that money you save is up to you. Come check out the 2022 Kia Carnival and the 2021 Kia Sorento. Only at Bruce Walters Kia in Pikeville. Or shop us online at brucewalterskia.com.
And we're back here on the Morning Startup Show here on the D&D Sports Network with JJ Pruitt and Darryl McCoy. We appreciate each and every one of you guys tuning in to join us on this beautiful day as we see some rain, dreary weather. I don't know what the weather is the rest of the day, but I sure hope it gets better than what it was this morning, JJ.
Absolutely. It's just ridiculous. I mean, that's the thing about West Virginia and Kentucky weather. I mean, 1 minute it could be extremely hot. The next minute it could storm for maybe 15 minutes and knock everybody's power out. And then, after that it could be sunny again. It's just, you just never know what you're going to get.
My grandpa told me he always told me, he said, if you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That was his saying. But we got a lot of comments here. But I'm going to tell you before I get to the comments why I think this show is going to be one of the best shows coming and going by the time it's over with. Again, we've only been at it a week, still getting quirks out, still, getting JJ comfortable, getting myself comfortable. But I think it's going to be a hit show because we got an overwhelming amount of women viewers that's tuning in. And if you could get women to tune in to a sports show, listen, you got magic, and that's what KSR built their career on. And So do appreciate all you women out there giving your feedback. So we got some comments coming in. Brianna Deskin says, that's what I thought. Said, it was too, JJ, but I don't know. How can you hate on a father and son duo who has made it to the professional level? You can't. You've got to, anything like that. And, who knows? LeBron, I don't know how old his youngest son is, or his next son. I know he's got.
His name's Bryce. I
yeah.
think.
Yeah, so I don't know how old he is, but, who knows? Maybe he can make it to the NBA one day, and they all three could be playing before LeBron retires. And
yeah, absolutely. With the way that LeBron's still playing, he's consistently averaging 25, 8, and 8 or something like that. So, by the time that.
But here's the good thing: you're not only going to get to see a father and son playing together, you're going to get to see a coach his son too, because LeBron he coaches that team part-time as well. So Bronny will be getting the best of both worlds. He'll get his dad as a teammate and his dad as a coach.
Absolutely. He'll get him as a general manager, possibly the owner.
Yeah, that's it. So there are going to be a lot of firsts there, put it that way.
Sure.
Brianna Deskin says, wasn't you a Brett Favre fan, Darryl? Yes, I was. That was actually my nickname growing up. I become a huge Brett Favre fan back in the early 90s. And it was one of them things that happened, by accident. We was talking about Athletic Addict, the store at the Southside Mall where you could go get authentic jerseys back then. For my birthday one year, my mom and dad went and got me a Brett Favre jersey. At that point, I probably knew who he was. I was a big basketball fan, but I wanted a football jersey. But for my birthday, they went and got me one. They just picked it out of the air. But from that point on, I become a monster Brett Favre fan, and just because of that jersey, and that ended up becoming my nickname. And in my mind, Brett Favre is top 3 quarterback all time. And I know a lot of people will disagree with that, but that's in my mind. Stephen Cassador says Tom Brady could have played forever. He said LeBron changed the game so much, I don't think he could play when the bad boys and Barkley ball was in the league. And then Linda Spurlock says president debate. Said go Trump. Well, we'll get to that in a minute, Linda. You want to stick around for that? So
absolutely.
As LeBron, I think LeBron could have played in the 90s, but he would have been a power forward. He would not have been what he is today. That the game, he kind of helped transition the game. So now, basketball, it's not backcourt, front court. It's kind of positionless basketball.
Yeah, the game has changed so much in the last couple of decades. You look in the 90s, it's like we talked yesterday about, how the big men were assigned 2 or 3 tasks and that was it. It was to get down low, make a couple post moves, get rebounds and, things like that. But now, they're shooting 3-point shots. They're bringing the ball down the court. They're doing so much more now than they did back then. It's changed so much.
Well, we're going to jump in. Linda mentioned it there. So we're going to jump in to the presidential debate. So JJ watched the presidential debate last night. And I could tell you the only thing I didn't watch a bit of it. I was at the EA Hoop Dream Summer League. So, I didn't. I would have watched it probably if I was home, but I wasn't home. So the only headline that I've seen is that undoubtedly they want to play each other in golf,
which is ridiculous.
Is that what happened, or
there was a section or a segment on there where they were, Biden was talking about wanting to challenge him in golf, and they were talking about each other's golf swings, and it was ridiculous.
So, what's the breakdown, JJ?
Okay, so, I took a lot of notes, and one of the first issues that they talked about was obviously the economy. And, I could start with, Biden. As soon as Biden got a chance to talk, as soon as he spoke, the first thing that he wanted to do was blame Trump for giving him an economy that was in free fall. And he also mentioned how Trump handled the COVID pandemic while also attempting to make promises to reduce the housing prices. And he talked about reducing the prices of prescription drugs as well. So what is your opinion on that?
Now, say the first part. I missed the first part. I got the prescription drugs.
Yeah. Like, so one thing that I learned about these presidential debates is a lot of times, like, they'll get asked to talk about a specific question, and a lot of times they'll try to change the subject and pivot. So that's pretty much like what he tried to do at the end, from what I'm getting. But as soon as he spoke, the first thing that he wanted to do was blame the other guy for giving him an economy that wasn't really that good, which I highly disagree with. And then he wanted to talk about the way that the pandemic was handled before, Trump got out of office. So, like, pretty much just blaming him for everything, instead of just taking accountability.
And that's throughout history. At the end of the day, it don't matter whether you're a Democrat or you're a Republican. Every single party, whether it's Democrat, Republican, whether you're neutral or whether you're a independent, it does not matter. They always, if their president is bad, they always blame the president before. Everybody always uses that excuse. Obama wasn't good because George Bush, or the only reason Trump done good is because he was coming off Obama's plans, or it's always the president before that gets the credit. So I don't know how much of that is actually true, because I know the president signed the bills and puts everything into action, but I think you got to be accountable for your own actions. And when it comes to, an economy, the economy wasn't great, but, we all know why the economy wasn't great. COVID destroyed America. So we're all fighting, this fight to try to get back out of what COVID did to us. So, I don't know. I don't blame Trump for anything that Biden's done.
Well, as far as, like, when Trump got a chance to speak, as soon as he spoke, the first thing that he mentioned was how, the economy was the greatest economy ever whenever, it was under his watch. And he mentioned how there were no wars that occurred under his watch while the economy was continuing to boom. And he also talked about how the only jobs that Biden created were jobs for illegal immigrants, while also talking about how inflation prices are killing our country. So
now, I don't know. Like Biden, there's definitely open borders, and the illegal immigrants. I did see the other day where these two men that done some unthinkable things to this girl over in Mexico just walked across the border. I do think that Trump worked really hard to put up a wall and to keep a lot of people that shouldn't be here out of America, but Biden, I think, has went and deliberately tried to undo a lot of that. So I don't know, the open borders and illegal immigrants, I definitely think that Biden has a hand in that.
Absolutely. And there's one more thing that I wanted to point out that really stood out to me, and everybody in the comment section can tell me whether they agree or disagree. But close to the end of the first issue, when Biden got a chance to speak for the very last time, he struggled to get his words out properly, and the moderator was kind enough to stop him from talking. That way he wouldn't look even worse than he already did. So you guys in the comment section, please tell me, if you caught that at the end of the first issue when they were debating.
They already are right now, and we appreciate everybody tuning in. Don't forget, guys, at 9:15 we got Parker Watts tuning in,
another
coming on.
killer.
Coming on the show. Linda Spurlock says they was just joking about the golf. Said the debate was so bad that they want Biden to step down now, and then said the economy was way better under Trump. Biden is destroying this country. And I could agree, I think, well, it was obviously better under Trump. But here's the thing that I struggle with. I'm a Trump fan. I'm not going to hide it. I'm a huge Trump fan. But you telling me that both these two men are the best qualified candidates that we have in America. That's my issue with it, and when you take a look like Biden, that man, there's no way, like they have to will him out there and, I mean, probably pump him full of, every, vitamin and every energy, sedative that they can just to keep him going, for stuff like this. And then when he gets out there and you hear him talk, you can tell that the man, his health isn't, right. And it's just making him look bad and making him be a joke. And I hate that for anybody, because at the end of the day, no matter what I disagree with or agree with president, they're still my commander in chief. And, other countries are going to see that and, they see weakness. So, I think there does need to be a change. And, listen, I don't think Trump done a bad job at all last time. So if that's who's going to represent the Republican Party, that's who I'm going to vote for.
Absolutely. And I agree with you too. Whenever I was watching him, it got to the point to where I wasn't laughing at him or anything like that. It was honestly sad because, he's in his mid 80s, and somebody like that has no business running the country. I mean, like, you're probably 5 generations or 6 generations behind everybody. I mean, like, if you were born during a time period like 1940 and the first house that you purchased was $5,000 or $6,000 or whatever, like, how are you going to tell me how to live 70 or 80 years later? Like, you can't relate to the same problems that I have today. And on top of that, I mean, when you get to your 80s, I mean, the average person, I think they live to be maybe 78, 76. So whenever you get to that age, like, you get to a point to where your mind isn't as strong as it used to be. And the fact that you're at that point in your life and you're in charge of over 300 million Americans, I mean, it's just, at some point you just got to think common sense, like, well, there's got to be somebody better.
There absolutely is, and I think my honest opinion, I think that there should be a age limit on first-term presidents. I think that if it's your first term, I think if you're over 65, you shouldn't be able to run. I think it's now if you're doing a good job and it rolls around and you're over 65 on your second term, then that's fine. But I think first-term presidents, there should be an age cutoff right there. Because what we've went through with Biden, the man fell off a bicycle. You want to talk about saving health or American money? He's got a dog that has bit his his what are Secret Service guys? He's got a dog that's bit their Secret Service guys like 7 times now.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. This dog, they threatened to put it down, and he keeps he sends it off to Connecticut to their home in Connecticut, and because it can't be around people anymore. But you look, it's just been a running joke. Whenever you get him up there, all the stuff that you see on TV, you can go on TikTok and see. I don't want to go into it because at the end of the day, I got respect for the man because he's our president, but. Yeah. I just think that, the Democrats need to do something, whether it's make him step down. And then you got the whole stuff with his son.
Jesus.
Yeah, you don't even want to go into that. So if you really want to know people, you can Google Biden's son, Hunter Biden, and you can see all the stuff that he's going through right now. So, I just think that America will be a lot better off when we rid ourselves from the Bidens.
Absolutely. And I'm like you, in this situation, it's like, are these really the 2 best candidates that we have? I know Trump did a phenomenal job, and if he gets elected, he's going to do a good job again. But it's like, there's got to be other people out there. I mean, we
Nah.
shouldn't have to have somebody that didn't have any political experience at all to come in and change things, and then we shouldn't have another guy that's almost 90 years old come in and
I'm sitting here thinking, like the first president that I ever remember as a kid that I can remember is George W. I think.
George H.W.
Yes, and I'm trying to think now. Who was before him?
Reagan.
Reagan? Yeah. Now I can remember Reagan because I remember when we was a kid that it become like in schools they would bring this paper around and they would have the kids vote. And I remember a guy vividly because I was a big fan of his. I don't know why. I don't even know what party he is or nothing like that. But Michael Dukakis. And I remember voting for him. But it's a the president. We've had some really good ones. I think Clinton's my all-time favorite president, and then George W. was probably my second favorite. That's George W. is what really converted me from a Democrat to a Republican. Where we grew up here in the mountains, and you folks at home, let me know how many was like this. My uncle, he raised me, and he always told me when we went to the polls, he was really big into politics, like local magistrate stuff like that, and he always told me, he said, whenever you go to the poll, I was like, who do I vote for? He said, you just go down and click strictly Democrat. He said, every Democrat you click. And that's the way you was brought up in the mountains. Well, about 2000, 2001, that's when, I become a Republican, and once I had family in the military and I seen a lot of the stuff that was set against soldiers, their health care was horrible. I remember my cousin broke her arm while they was on leave, and they had to let it grow back together because the hospitals wouldn't see her because of her insurance here. They had to let it grow back together, take her back to North Carolina until they got on post, and then re-break it and do the surgery. So, that stuff like that's what made me become a Republican. And now Republicans nowadays is what Democrats was back when we was kids.
Yeah, that's something that I always have heard. I mean, like before Trump got elected, and everybody would always tell me, West Virginia used to be a Democratic state. And I was like, really? And it was like, when did it change? And they named a specific person that it changed whenever he got elected in office. And
drug today and let them fill your prescription. Eric Holman Drug has been serving the Chapmanville community for over 46 years. They're a proud supporter of the Chapmanville Tigers and all mountain athletes. Oceana Discount Tobacco today. Nobody can beat Oceana Discount Tobacco's great prices or their great services. You're treated like family from the second you walk through the door. We want to thank Oceana Discount Tobacco for sponsoring today's events. Go follow them on Facebook. Bring them to Hall & Jones Funeral Home in Virgie, Kentucky. We let you grieve in peace instead of worrying about a heavy financial burden of burying a loved one. Here at Hall & Jones, we have multiple chapels that can accommodate any size family. We look forward to helping you and your family here at Hall & Jones. And we are back here. Darryl, McCoy, JJ Pruitt. We was up against the hard break there, JJ. This system we use, for you guys that don't know, it only gives you a certain amount of time before you got to go to commercial, the way it's set up. So, the way we had it set up. So, went to commercial break there, early commercial break. But this segment here is brought to you courtesy of Derek Bowling at Kentucky Farm Bureau. Now, JJ, quickly we'll finish up on the debate. What was some of the other topics that you had on the debate?
Okay, we had, I'll give you a couple of them, and maybe you can, since we're getting ready to wrap it up, you can tell me which one you might want to talk about. Roe versus Wade, the abortion issue was one of the topics that they had. Immigration and border security and how each candidate will handle them.
Well, real quick on them two topics, tell me real quick how each of them went on them.
Okay, so let me go to my notes.
Yeah.
If anybody in the that's watching notices I'm looking at, I'm constantly looking at my notes. That way I know what I'm talking about. Let's see. So the first question, on the Roe versus Wade issue was for Trump, and they asked if Trump will block access to abortion medication. And as soon as Trump got a chance to speak, he mentioned that he will not block access to the abortion pill. And he mainly talked about how, he was able to add 3 new Supreme Court members who decided to allow the abortion issue to be left up to the states. And he mentioned how he believes that the states are working things out for themselves. And, he also talked about his belief in the exception of people who were victims of rape and incest, still being an exception at the end of the day. So what are your thoughts on that, Darryl?
I couldn't agree more. That would be the exceptions that I make. Now myself, I mean, I'm not a fan of abortion, but I do think it's the woman's right. But with that being said, the only time that I would ever, be a fan, I don't think we should do away with abortion because there's cases that it's needed, which in a case like I believe, like, okay, if a doctor comes to you and says, listen, this child is going to have a horrible life, it's going to be a vegetable, it's going to, something like that, I couldn't blame a mother, or a parent for deciding that. But, when it comes to like rape and incest, I got to be careful here because, one of my biggest joys in the world come from this situation. So I think if, rape, I think, listen, it's tough because, do you want to tell a woman that's raped not to have a child? That's the tough part because, what if she's a big time athlete or she's something like this and knows that having this child will affect her for the rest of her life, and it was something that she did not ask for, so I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm for keeping it, but let the states decide. And I just wish it would be a little bit more stricter on whenever it's used, is my opinion.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a very tough topic. I mean, there's some people out there that agree that you shouldn't be allowed to do it completely. And then there's some people out there that think that there are some exceptions. I just so happen to believe that there are instances where there should be some exceptions, and that's about as far as I can go with it. Yeah. I try to always choose my words wisely, but I do strongly believe that, if a girl's a victim of assault and, or somebody's a victim of incest, it's like, how are you going to tell them that you're forcing them to have to relive that moment each and every day of their life just by looking at that person that they had to have,
Yeah, and I mean, I'm also on the hand, listen, we're not judge, jury, or executioner, so I mean, who are we to, change God's plan, no matter what God's plan is, so if you don't want to put it up for adoption, I would like to say that, but I couldn't, there's situations I couldn't tell a woman to, listen, you've got to do this, so. As we're sitting here, Linda Spurlock says states should decide also abortion should not be used as birth control. That's basically what I'm saying. It's a lot of women, and I've seen a lot that it's a lot of women use it as a source of birth control, and that's when it absolutely should be banned. So I don't know. We'll move on to the next topic. We'll visit this on a later show.
I was going to say I have one more thing I wanted to say because it's about Biden. Like, they asked him a question about the abortion issue. I did not know that there were 7 states who still allow people to get one even at the 9-month mark, which is crazy to me.
Now they get to have it at the 9-month mark.
Yeah,
That's not abortion. That's murder.
Exactly. There's no time limit. And whenever Biden was asked about, the lady or the moderator said, Biden, there are 7 states who still allow people to get one at any time. There's no time limit. How do you feel about that? And his exact response was, I support Roe versus Wade. He didn't. That was literally all that he said. And to me, that's like, whoa, like, there's really 7 states out there that have agreed to allow people to do it at any time. I mean, that's a little,
that is murder. That's
radical.
Not, yeah, there's no way that we could put people away for murder and not punish the people that does that. I mean, that's sick. But going back to what was the last one? Immigration
and border security, and how each candidate will handle them. So
well, how'd they say?
So whenever Biden got a chance to talk, he basically talked about how the laws that he's put in place have decreased the amount of people coming into our country illegally about 40%, and now he's going to do everything he can to get that number to be even better. So do you really believe that? I mean, I'm not sure, but he said that it's decreased by 40% the amount of people that have came in illegally.
No way. I mean, you can go look at these big cities. That is a flat out lie, and I don't know. I mean, it's tough. Like Trump, I love Trump's thought process of it. Listen, America, we're welcoming, but like, do it the right way. If you want to come in this country, go through the process. That's the only thing that I'm saying. And, when you take a look at a lot of this trouble that big inner cities have, a lot of it is because of illegal immigrants, and here's the other thing, like, they're coming in, taking our jobs. That's the thing that, we're already, in a situation which right now we can't really complain because there's so much work out there, and Americans, let's just be honest with it. Americans won't. So this is a double-edged sword. I don't like immigration, but I do understand a lot of business owners, that's the only workers that you can find, and because Americans have got so dependent on, handouts and things given to them. Like, I struggle, like, we own a business here, and we see how hard it is to find workers. Like, you cannot find workers these days. Anybody that will look you in your eye and tell you that, they can't get a job is a liar. Because no matter, listen, I know a million people, my sponsors, I got some that said they don't care. Felons, it don't matter what your history is, they will hire you. There's jobs out there, and people just will not work these days, JJ. So, the old saying that I used to stand on, they're coming and taking our jobs, I can't stand on that anymore, but I still don't like the fact that they're coming and, all the bad stuff that comes with it. Now, you do have instances where, a family will come over, a perfect, family, great people, and never causes an issue, just wanted a better opportunity, for their family. That's the part that's hard for me to turn them down, people like that down. But, you still got to go through it the right way. The old adage, a rule isn't a rule without a consequence.
Absolutely. And we have too many people that's here already, that was born here, that still need to be taken care of before we go out of our way to try to take care of others.
I agree 100%, JJ. Couldn't agree more. Yeah. So was any other things about the debate?
Let me see. They asked. Let's look and see. Will Trump accept the election outcome no matter what?
No, no, he will not. No, we already know this. If he loses, it will be something will come up that happened, and listen, I don't know. Like last time, I think, yeah, he probably did get screwed, but
Yeah.
I don't know that for a fact, but here's the thing, like if his people won't accept it is one of the things too. Like his fans feed, like he feeds off his fans so much. Here, Donald Trump would be an outstanding president, and like I said, I'm a huge Trump fan. But one thing I do think, if he takes office this time, and it needs to be nothing, no ifs, ands, buts about it. The Republican Party, before they put him up there to represent the Republican Party, they should make him promise that he will not be on social media. That's where every negative thing about Trump comes from, is the idiotic stuff that he does on social media. Like he does stuff that blows your mind. And, like America gets a kick out of it. But, again, that's our president. He would be a heck of a president if he would just stay off social media, but either way, the man's getting my vote. I'm a big Trump supporter.
Absolutely. And I agree with everything that you say as far as like his situation with social media, because like every time somebody criticizes him, he immediately wants to say something, and it's always a headline. And one thing that you have to remember is you're in charge of 300 million Americans. And when you get on there and you say, oh, this guy's a radical Democrat, or he's a crazy individual, and he's on the other party that disagrees with you, like you may be doing a phenomenal job. And there may be people on the other party that may believe that as well. But because you're doing stuff that's so outlandish and saying things that's so outlandish, it completely, it hides what you're like, how good of a job that you're really doing. Like it overshadows what you're doing as a president. And a lot of people may not be able to pay attention to what you're doing that's great because of all the negativity that's constantly in the headlines.
Oh, I got the Howard Family Pharmacy comment of the day here. Todd Coleman says, I've never golfed before, but I feel confident that I could beat Biden in a golf game.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a really good one.
So I'm sitting here. Well, we got a ton of comments coming in. Lisa Spurlock says they sent people here from mental institutions, prisons, criminals. They come to this country, free rent, free food, free hospitals. Said free everything. Now we are paying for it. Way to go, Biden. And that's the thing. Like you tell me that these other countries, like they're smart. A lot of these people that they don't want, they'll push over to America, and and then we have to deal with it. It's our problem. And then not only is everything free, but when we do have to prosecute them, then taxpayers are fitting the bill for the court cases. So I mean, it just do it the right way. Tighten the borders up. And if somebody wants to come, loosen the process, because a lot of people, like I know a lot of people, you have to be married and, to come in and get your citizenship and all that. Loosen the process is what I'm saying. And you would take and kind of split both parties. If you tighten the borders, but loosen the process to get your citizenship to where it isn't so hard. Don't make it, like easy, but make it to where you would have a record of these people coming in anyways, so that's where that would help. That is, then you would have a record for these people coming in.
Absolutely. And I actually know a guy that he owns a Mexican restaurant. And years ago, like he would tell me this story about how he had to pay like $7,000 a year just to stay here. Now he ended up marrying somebody and they went on to have a lovely family, but he never really could figure out the entire process of how to do it without, finding somebody and getting married. Like it was just.
But you know what they don't have to do? They don't have to pay taxes. So that's the thing. Like these business owners, they come in here and they get tax exempt. So they don't have to pay the taxes that Americans have to pay. And then I mean, I deal with a lot of them on sponsorships and stuff. And, a lot of them, you'll come and they'll be an owner of the business for 3 years and then, or 6 months or whatever. And then you'll see their brother or cousin come in and they'll go back to their home country for a little bit. And then their brother or cousin will come run it. And then they'll keep switching like that so they can keep that process going.
That's, oh my God.
Yeah.
That's insane.
It's insane that I agree with
yeah.
Come to this country legally. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the EA Hoop Dream Summer League. And then at 9:15, you do not want to miss it. We got one of the, most controversial players coming into the 15th region, a kid that's coming in with a mission joining us. So make sure you join us at 9:15 for Parker Watts. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. Be right back here on the D&D Sports Network Morning Startup Show.
D&D Auto Sales. Right now, guaranteed credit approval. No credit, bad credit, good credit, it don't matter. Guaranteed credit approval 100% right now at J&B Auto Sales. Stop by and see them today in DeFord, Kentucky. Crum Funeral Home in
Drug today and let them fill your prescription. Eric Holman Drug has been serving the Chapmanville community for over 46 years. They're a proud supporter of the Chapmanville Tigers and all mountain athletes.
Started right here on this farm. We may have grown over the years, but we've never lost sight of what was important to us. We're continuing that tradition today, and we always will be for generations to come.
High School. Continue to follow D&D Sports, best coverage in the mountains.
And we are back here on the D&D Sports Network Morning Startup Show with JJ Pruitt and Darryl McCoy. This segment is sponsored by Logan Bank and Trust. If you're looking for a loan today and you're looking for the people that can make it happen easily and make that process easy, go to Logan Bank and Trust, #1 supporter of West Virginia athletes. Now, one thing I do want to mention, JJ, yesterday, we'll be back in the Logan area today. So if you own a business and you want to get your sponsorship on the Startup Show or on D&D Sports Network, shoot us a message. We'll come by and see you. We'll be in the Logan County area, so it don't matter, Logan, Boone County, Mingo County. Shoot us a message. We'll come see you. So, JJ, I was over in Logan yesterday. And, everybody always, every kid, you take any teenager in America wants Chick-fil-A. For some reason, they love Chick-fil-A. And when I was leaving the Logan Plaza, I looked over at Logan Bank and Trust, and they have a mobile Chick-fil-A set up there every Thursday.
Are you serious?
Yeah. But the way they had it set up, their tent was broke. So you could just see the side of it. And it just looked like maybe the bank was setting a tent up and maybe giving loans or something like that. That's what it looked like, unless you've seen the Chick-fil-A van beside it. But they have fresh Chick-fil-A food every Thursday at the Logan Plaza there in Logan Bank and Trust parking lot.
I did not know that. And, I know that you and I like to go to local restaurants every time that we go out to eat and stuff. But,
yeah.
If you wouldn't care to stop maybe next Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, I eat Chick-fil-A so much with my son. That's all he wants to eat. I am not eating there on my own will.
Fair enough.
Yeah. But as we sit here and look, guys, don't forget at 9:15 we will have Parker Watts joining us. I know JJ's very excited for Parker coming on the show, but
absolutely,
I'm excited too. But as I want to talk about yesterday, this week I went down and covered a good friend, Andrew Evans and Elizabeth. I went and covered their EA Hoop Dream Summer League. They got a league and it's local kids that play in it, 6th grade up to 8th grade, I think. And, I honestly thought I was going to go there and I was going to be miserable. I was like, oh, man, I'll go up here and cover it, Andrew. And when I went up there, I was very surprised at some of the talent that was there and some of the talent that's in the Mingo County area right now. I mean, whenever last night was the championship, so you had the semifinals. The league's made up of 4 teams, so everybody made the semifinals, and then the 2 teams played in the championship. So I wanted to take and give this league and them kids there a quick shout out, JJ, as we've took and name my D&D Sports Network ENA Hoop Dreams Summer League 1st and 2nd team and MVP. MVP of the league goes to Ashton Evans. Ashton Evans was head and heels better than anybody else in that league. He stood out, and you can tell the kids put in the work. He from Lenoir, went to Chapmanville, played last year. He also was named Soccer Player of the Year in West Virginia, and now he's back at Lenoir. I think he'll be going to Kentucky possibly next year and maybe holding back his 8th grade year. So, that's still yet to be determined. But my first team is going to be Aiden Fleming, Braxton Chafin off the purple team, then Braxton Farley and Brady Christian off the green team, and then Jake Gollihue off the red team. That's my first team. Second team, I'm going to go with Mason Porter, big, athletic big. I think he had 7 blocks in one game yesterday. Sammy Blackburn. Then I'm going to go with, where's he at? The Justin Canterbury. So how many was that? Canterbury, I think that leaves 2 more. So I went Porter, Canterbury, Blackburn. Yeah, so that leaves 2 more. And then I'm going to go with, where's he at here? I just had him. Braylon Shepard. And then it would, the last one, I just had him here somewhere. Oh, I'm going to go with the activity of Justin Calvin. The kid was active. He, active on the glass, set good screens, was a good teammate, and so that's who I'm going to go with for the first and second team of the EA Hoop Dream Summer League, JJ.
And that's really awesome. And I would love to, the next time that there's a game, I'd love to come, call it with you so I can see some of this upcoming talent in person.
Well, it's over. That league's over now.
Yeah.
But
next time they have it, absolutely.
Yeah, we definitely will. And I want to go back. Todd Coleman's comment said that he don't even play golf and he could beat Biden. I don't either, and I would smoke Biden. I promise you that. I wouldn't just beat him; I would smoke him. And I did see where he joked and told Trump, I'll play if you carry your own bags. I mean, you tell me Joe Biden's going to carry his own bags
for 18 holes?
Yeah, he ain't going to carry it for a hole. There's no way that old man can lift a golf bag. No way possible. Yeah,
that's ridiculous. I mean, I applaud his confidence, but still, you gotta. I mean, he's way too old.
Yeah, that's just my honest opinion. Want to talk here? Let's see. I got good news yesterday, JJ. For you folks that don't know, if you grew up in the 90s, listen, the 80s and 90s was the best time ever in America. I feel sorry for kids these days because they didn't get to grow up in the 80s and 90s. But we had shirts that kids loved to wear to school, and it was kind of parents did not, or teachers, you was not allowed to wear these shirts, and but they was called Co-Ed Naked and Big Johnson shirts, and they have now come back out with them now. So I'm tickled to death. I always tell people about these shirts, and they never believe me. And then I recently was sent pictures from down at Myrtle Beach where Co-Ed Naked is coming back out with their shirts again. So I'm excited about that, JJ.
That's pretty cool. I mean, I think I remember those shirts when I was really, really young. I mean, in the 90s, I was, 5, 6, 7 years old. So, yeah, I think that I remember them, but I don't know if I remember anybody at school wearing them in elementary school.
No, the teachers, you would get sent home quickly if you had one on, but and that brings you to the stuff today, kids, I know a kid the other day, I ran into a kid, I was talking to him in a doctor's office, and I was like, why ain't you at school? And he's like, I got sent home. I said, why'd you get sent home? And they said that they had a shirt, a Marlboro shirt on. Yeah,
really?
And I'm like, schools take stuff too far these days. Like you can't wear, Bud Light, Marlboro. I mean, in the 80s and 90s, shoot, here in the mountains, a lot of kids, the only clothes they was getting is, the shirts that their parents was getting from their Marlboro miles.
Yeah, from the coupons they could get from, so many points that they were obtaining.
Yeah, the Marlboro miles, for people that don't understand what that is, you used to be able to take and cut the side of a Marlboro pack out and collect them, and you got points. And you could send them points in, and you would get a brochure, and you could buy certain things with them points from the side of your Marlboros. It's called Marlboro miles. And a lot of kids' clothes come from that, I guarantee you had an uncle that had his whole outfit was decked out. He probably had the Marlboro Letterman jacket and
I was going to actually talk about the jackets. I mean, they had some really nice stuff. I mean, if you could get your hands on something like that, I mean, that was big time.
Good morning, Scotty Dingus. As you're tuning in, guys, remember at 9:15 we got Parker Watts coming on, but JJ, that surprises me, and I understand, like some schools being tight on, a girl's dress or something like that, the length of it, or shorts or something like that, because, I do think that, we got to teach kids the right way. But, stuff, just at the end of the day, if you want to wear a t-shirt, as long as it isn't vulgar, and now these Co-Ed Naked and Big Johnson shirts are vulgar, so they can't be wearing them, but, Marlboro, Bud Light, stuff like that. I mean, listen, sometimes that's all a kid can afford.
Absolutely. And,
and
what do you say to a kid like that if you say you can't wear that shirt? He's like, well, look, this is all I have. It's like, are you going to help me out, or?
Yeah, that's it. Are you going? And listen, I will say a lot of schools now do have, they do have things in place to help kids in them situations. So, I do know that. But, another thing that blew my mind yesterday is, are you aware that now the driver test, a lot of states are going to having a driver's test recorded? So you will not have that traditional guy sitting over there, with another steering wheel, or like they did in driver's ed. You won't have that guy sitting beside you, sitting there with his pen and paper telling you this and that. You will be recorded. There'll be cameras all around the car, and it's recording, and you'll be graded on how you driven the test. So, but they make a parent sit with you now. So you still got that person over 18 in the car with you, but I'm like, what's the point in this?
I don't know what you get from that, unless they're trying to, imply that the people that are giving the test are given too much of a leeway whenever these kids are driving. Like maybe saying, whenever they're attempting to parallel park, they're like, go ahead and turn the wheel just a little bit, and you'll be good to go. Like, unless they're trying to, prevent something like that from happening, so they make sure that everybody knows what they're doing for the most part. I mean, I don't get that.
Well, I mean, can't a parent tell you? The parent that's in the car,
Yeah.
tell you. So
I'm old school. Like I would much rather have it that way instead of with all the cameras and stuff.
yeah, that's me. Don't, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I don't know the whole process or why they would do that, because one thing you're doing is you're getting rid of a job in America.
You're taking a job. You're taking somebody's job away.
Yeah, and the other thing is, I don't understand. Like if you're still going to have a parent ride with them, why not just have the driving instructor ride with them and grade them? I don't understand that. I don't know. Maybe there's like a secret underground world where parents are slipping driver test people money to pass their kid or something that we don't know about. But I just don't get what the thought process is behind that. Jimmy Johnson says, when's the last time any of us have parallel parked? Jimmy, I do it on a daily. I always, if you talk to my family, they will tell you, my wife and kids, that I brag every day about how good I can parallel park. So every chance I get, I prove it.
Okay, so me, on the other hand, the last time that I parallel parked was 2007, which was the year that I graduated, and it was on graduation day when I got my driver's license. So I'm right there with him. It's been
that's the last time you parallel parked?
Yeah, I'm good on that. I'm just gonna find another parking spot.
No, I'm not walking 3 miles when there's a perfectly good spot right in front of the restaurant. And no, you got to know how to parallel park, and you got to do it, JJ.
Now, hold on. I'm not saying that I don't know how to parallel park. I'm just simply saying that I don't care to walk.
I'm gonna challenge you. I'm gonna say you don't know how to parallel park.
Well, I mean, I would say challenge accepted in a lot of situations, but in this one, I think where I'm getting a little older, I'm just gonna do my exercise and just walk to wherever I need to go.
JJ, parallel parking has nothing. You can't say I don't know how to parallel park because I'm getting old. That has nothing to do with it.
I'm implying that I don't care to walk. I'll just use the exercise instead of going through that whole process. And yeah, I'm good on that.
Oh, well, I'm fat. I don't like to walk. So,
now hold on now. Don't talk about yourself like that. Come on now.
So I am not walking any more than I have to. But no, that might be something we do. JJ says he can parallel park. I might film him today parallel parking and see if he can do it.
Here we go.
Yeah, and you only get one try at it, big boy.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so the Jimmy Johnson says you do it to be difficult or fancy. So we all know we don't feel like doing it. And but Jimmy, appreciate you tuning in. Always enjoy Jimmy's comments. One of our best commenters in the comment section. And when we was in Logan yesterday, seeing they're putting on the Freedom Fest there.
Oh yeah, and it looks like it's going to be really good.
It's going to be awesome, man. The Freedom Fest. The Freedom Fest there in Logan right now. I mean, they got, I'd say, more rides than they've ever had right now, JJ. It looks good, don't it?
Absolutely. And so you've been to festivals like that before. What is your favorite thing about a festival in general? Is it the food? Is it the quality of the rides? Is it the music that they play? Is there something specific that stands out to you whenever you go to these kind of places?
Well, I'll go ahead and tell you my favorite festival is definitely Hillbilly Days. But right now in Prestonsburg, there's a huge uprising about the festival there. Maybe one of our Prestonsburg people can call in and tell us. We'll try to figure that out. By the way, guys, starting next week, we're going to start to take some calls from you guys. So if you want to comment or you want to challenge us on a topic or something like that, let us know. We'll send you a link and we'll bring you on via Facebook and let you ask your question. So, JJ, as Jimmy says, all of us above factor in it to it for me. So, as you take a look at the you was asking me about festivals. My favorite part about festivals is my favorite festival is Hillbilly Days. So I love the music. I like bluegrass, and I like 90s country, and 90% of it. And I don't think that Hillbilly Days has enough of music. When I was a kid, I remember you could go to 3 or 4 different stages where they was playing music. Now you might get lucky, and I think Denny Paul may be playing on the courthouse steps. Our good friend Denny does a great job there every year. I always like going to listen to him, but that they've done away with the other stages, like on back on the back street on the main strip there on I thought of it too quick, the name of that boulevard there, but Hambly Boulevard. So they've done away with that stage, I think, now. So you don't have the country music singers back there. But I like the music. I like the food. I'm not big on the rides. I like walking around looking, at all the arts and crafts. My favorite part is, that's the time when I can show my kids my extreme athleticism and skill. And I can always win them a prize with the dart busting the balloon. And when I was a kid, you used to get these mirrors, and it would have like, Motley Crue written on the mirror, and it would come in a little white case that had gold leaping around.
I remember those. Yes.
Yeah. That was the prizes back then, and that's what you always wanted. And but that's my favorite part about the carnivals and fairs.
Absolutely. And I had a lot of those prizes as well. Like most of them were wrestling characters. I had a couple of Stone Cold Steve Austin ones that I would win, and a couple of D-Generation X ones. But yeah, my favorite thing about those festivals are the games. I used to love to play the basketball games when I was a kid. They were pretty difficult to win at times, but usually every time I would go, I would always walk away with a prize. But I would have to spend a little bit of money to get it. But
well, JJ, we got Parker Watts waiting in the waiting room right now. We got a couple comments we're going to get to here when we come back, but we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to come back with one of the top players in the mountains, Parker Watts. Come right back and join us here on the D&D Sports Network. Pass, bring them to Hall and Jones Funeral Home in Burgee, Kentucky. We let you grieve in peace instead of worrying about a heavy financial burden of burying a loved one. Here at Hall and Jones, we have multiple chapels that can accommodate any size family. We look forward to helping you and your family here at Hall and Jones.
D&D Auto Sales. Right now, guaranteed credit approval. No credit, bad credit, good credit, it don't matter. Guaranteed credit approval 100% right now at J&B Auto Sales. Stop by and see them today in DeFord, Kentucky. Crum Funeral Home in DeFord, Kentucky is committed and giving the highest quality funeral services for a fair and reasonable price. If you don't want to have to deal with heavy financial obligations during your grieving process, come see us at Crum Funeral Home. Our staff is ready to serve you.
High School. Continue to follow D&D Sports, best coverage in the mountains.
And we're back here on the D&D Sports Network morning startup show. This segment is sponsored by Bruce Walters Ford. If you're looking for a vehicle, new, used, pre-owned, go see our friends at Bruce Walters Ford, located in Pikeville and one above Coe Run. So JJ Pruitt, Darryl McCoy, and we got special guest in the house, Mr. Parker Watts. Thanks for joining us, Parker.
Thanks for having me.
Another killer, I'm telling you, Darryl.
Well, JJ, as always, I'll let you start these things off.
Man, I tell you, you caught me off guard with this one because he didn't tell me last night that you was coming on the show. So when I woke up this morning and saw the post, I was like, man, I've been waiting for this one. So it's nice to finally meet you, man, for real.
Nice to meet you too.
All right, so when I asked a little bit about your backstory, I was told that the previous season you had 4 50-point games in 1 year. Yeah. So where did you get that killer mentality from, and who were some of the players that you looked up to?
I looked up to more of like NBA style of players, not
Mhm.
it's like college basketball. So like just seeing Anthony Edwards and like John Morant, those two are like my favorite NBA players. And I don't know really what got into me those games. I just knew I had to do something in order to win. So I just got to the rim, found the open people, and I mean I mostly got points off of like rebounds and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So you just pretty much flipped the switch and blacked out, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Man, that is awesome. And so my first day of broadcasting, it was actually in Martin County, Kentucky, and it was during your summer league. And, you know, I was assigned to watch out for two players, yourself and Jaden Stewart. And, you know, I was lucky enough to get a chance to watch you guys in the very final game. And the one thing that I loved the most is you guys were just going at it. You know, you weren't shying away from the competition. You were guarding each other. And it was told to me that you were one of the top players to look out for Player of the Year. So whenever you knew that you was going to go up against him, you know, did you want to send a message? Like, what was going through your head at that time?
I've never really like known Jaden Stewart. I've heard of. I know he shoot the lots out of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, every game I go into, I just go in it and I play. I try to win. I don't really look at someone and like, hey, I'm gonna prove a point right here. I just go in the game and I just try to play.
Absolutely. Well, you definitely put on a heck of a game, and I'm really looking forward to seeing, you know, everything that you do in this upcoming season.
Yeah, the now I will say I'm gonna call BS on not going proving a point, because I can tell you I've watched Parker play, and that young man, he has bad intentions. Parker, you know, it seems like that you want to. It seems like every time down the floor there's an opportunity, you know, for you to go, you know, posterize somebody that you're going to take advantage of it. Talk about that aggressive attitude and where that comes from.
I don't really know where it comes from. It's just, I guess, watching like a lot of Anthony Edwards. Like I said, I mean, if you're under the rim, you're getting dunked on by him, and it's just like if you.
I think he froze up there.
But I don't. That's really it. I don't really think that I'm gonna posterize someone when I'm like trying to.
Well, you do it a lot.
I just do.
Guys, you definitely want to tune in to D&D Sports Network for Parker Watts 2024 poster tour. As Parker, you know, in West Virginia, you know, here's the thing: a lot of people. We'll dig into that in a second, but you've always had doubters. Like, you've always been a kid that's dropping 30 plus a game, you know, and doing your thing. You know, it almost comes, you know, easy to you, but you know, when you take and
Wait, what is it?
You always in West Virginia, you know, like you've always been scoring, you know, 25 plus. You know, I mean, that comes easy to you, but you know, people always doubted you because you played at Tulsa. You know, you didn't always have, you know, a superstar team around you. You never got to play at state tournament. You know, them doubters, you know, how do you use that? You know, people, you know, I mean, because they always say, yeah, he does it because he has to do it. But if he was somewhere good, he wouldn't be able to do that. You know, how often have you heard that, and do you hear that, or do you use that for fuel?
I've heard that a lot. In 3 years at Tulsa, it probably 3-4 times a day, probably. I do kind of use it as fuel for my game, because I like to. I don't really know how to explain it, but I don't really.
Well, you definitely like to prove your doubters wrong, and you know that's the thing about you. You know, I mean, like, and everybody always says, you know, well, Parker played single A ball in West Virginia. I mean, a lot of kids can do that, and that's not the case. People don't understand. Like there's really good basketball at the single A period. A lot of great players, but you never got that recognition you deserved. You coming over to Kentucky, do you think that will change everybody's thought process if you're able to come and have success in Kentucky like you did in West Virginia?
Yeah, I think that it changed a lot of people's thought on single A ball in West Virginia and then Kentucky.
Yeah,
it's a big difference from what I played so far. A lot more like physical, aggressive. It ain't just pass, stand around. You have to cut. You have to find the open guy. It's just more aggressive.
That's what I was going to ask you. What was the biggest thing so far that the biggest difference between Kentucky and West Virginia, and do you find it more harder? Is the difficulty level more difficult in Kentucky than what it is in West Virginia?
Yeah, it's a lot. Well, I wouldn't say a lot more, but it's definitely more like competitive.
Yeah.
And like in West Virginia, they'd run like a box of one, but like they'd give me some space where I could still catch the ball and make a move or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I remember at the state tournament, I talked to you and I asked you, I said, what's your plans? I've heard, that, you may be going to Kentucky or you may be, and you told me, you said, my dream is to be here, and we was in Charleston, and, as a West Virginia boy, just like a Kentucky boy, West Virginia boy, their dream is to play on that stage in the West Virginia state tournament. Now, you're taking, you're not going to be able to accomplish that dream. But, how much do you know about the Kentucky State Tournament, and how excited are you to possibly make it?
I don't know much about the Kentucky tournaments yet. I'm still trying to get in the groove of all that. But I know they play at like U Pike and Rupp and places like that, and I feel like that'd be pretty cool to play on a bigger stage. So yeah, I'm very excited about that.
Well, you're in for a treat because one thing I always say, like, listen, the West Virginia State Tournament when I was a kid, that was the biggest show, I mean, in the world to me. Like you always waited to go follow Williamson or Tug Valley down to the state tournament. But in Kentucky, it's different. Like the region tournament that's held in Pikeville at U Pike, that's the equivalent to a West Virginia state championship for kids in Kentucky. If you win your region, it's looked at just like West Virginia kids look at state titles. And then if you go to Rupp Arena and have success, then, you're playing with house money, because you're playing in the most historic gymnasium in America, and you got college coaches sitting courtside every single game. I mean, you got Rupp Arena, thousands of people sitting there watching you. It is a different animal, Parker. I think, I think you'll be very surprised if you're able to make it there on, how special the Sweet 16 is.
Yeah.
So let's talk about coming over to Martin County. First of all, I know your name was kind of linked to a couple different schools, but you decided to come and play for the Martin County Cardinals. A lot of success, a lot of historic success at Martin County, and talk about why what drew you to Martin County.
Well, I never really wanted to leave Tulsa. I got good friends at Tulsa, great coaching staff, but I just needed something with more opportunities, something bigger, something that can, like college coaches can really look at me and like look at the level of my competition. Because I've talked to 4 D1 coaches, and they've all told me the same thing, that I need to play at more of a higher level of competition.
That I could definitely see that, and I respect the decision. At the end of the day, you could never down a kid for trying to better yourself, and that was the difference. I mean, everybody's always their knock on you was you didn't play good competition, you didn't play this, you didn't play that. Well, one thing I've seen, you had them 4 50-point games in West Virginia. I don't know that you'll score 50 in Kentucky because you won't need it. But I could see a game where you do drop 50, and but I promise you this: for anybody that's not watched Parker this summer, he's doing the same thing to Kentucky kids that he was doing to West Virginia kids. So I look forward to seeing. Now, you was a big football star too. Like a lot of people, I always tell people Parker Watts is, he's in my mind. I think you was a top 3 wide receiver in the mountains. The Brex Kilburn kid from over at Perry Central, possibly Aiden Burke, Ashland has got a good receiver, but you was right there in that group. Do you plan on playing any football or anything at Martin County?
No, I've been asked to play football, but I just don't want to take the chance on getting a knee blew out or some serious injury that can cost me my last year of basketball. So playing football next year.
Well, I'm tickled to death that you decided that, Parker. But JJ, I know you got a couple more questions for him.
Absolutely, I got at least one last question. So, like I said, the first time I got a chance to cover you was like my very first day. The very first play where you actually got your first bucket was a tip dunk. So what I want to know is like, how old was you when you got your first dunk? Like, where do you get those hops from? Like, could you help me out with my vertical?
I got my first dunk my sophomore year. I was 15, and it was against our Tulsa and Tug at Rivals.
Mm-hmm.
It was against them. It was the best feeling I've ever witnessed in my life.
Oh, I can imagine, because like that's a mood like a game changer. Like that's a momentum shifter, pretty much.
Yeah. But I just honestly, will scroll through TikTok and I'll see like want to increase your vertical, and it's like like dumbbell squats and stuff like that. So I do some of that, and I guess it's helping. I mean,
Oh, absolutely, for sure. I know you mentioned that you talked to a couple of D1 schools, and they said that you need to play a higher level of competition. Do you have any potential schools on your radar at the moment?
Marshall, Western Kentucky.
Marshall and Western Kentucky. Oh, those are 2 really big schools too.
Yeah.
That's really impressive. Well, man, I really look forward to seeing you again in person. I can't wait till Darryl hooks me up with your schedule. And, I would love to come down to your gym and actually do an in-person interview with you as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the Parker, that's right now for you folks at home that don't know, you hold an offer from KCU. You got any other offers or?
Yeah, I got a offer from St. Mary's in Maryland. It's like
Yeah, I'm familiar with St. Mary's. The is now when you take and look, at what's ahead of you, here in Kentucky, you come in and like we seen you and Jaden Stewart go head to head, and instantly when you come over here, you become one of the favorites to win Region Player of the Year, which is a huge award. Coming into the 15th region, if you had to say the thing that you're most excited about, the opportunity you're most excited about, and what you're most looking forward to here in Kentucky, what would it be?
Honestly, I just want to win. I'm just trying to go to Rupp. I got a great team. Peyton Davis probably one of the best shooters in the 15th region.
Yeah.
Kentucky, I'd put him against anyone in Kentucky probably, defensive wise and shooting. And I mean, we got Bryson Dials, sees the whole floor, very unselfish.
Yeah.
He's just a brute. I mean, there's just one word for him. Jackson, he finds open. He's unselfish. He can get to the rim, score. I mean, I don't know how he does those hook shots and makes them, but I can't.
Well, y'all all do. Y'all all got something special that you bring to the table, man. And I hope that I hope things gel, and y'all are able, because I really think I've covered sports for 8 years here in the mountains, and the way that this team is constructed, it's going to take a heck of a team to knock y'all off. I think y'all only lost 3 games. I think in Summer League. I think you lost 2 at Western, and then you lost 4. Yeah, lost to Hazard, right? Yeah. So Hazard, and then there at Marshall. So when you take in, and that's got to give West Virginia basketball, y'all went in there and y'all beat Shady Spring, and be honest, y'all didn't play y'all's best game, and still found a way to beat the team that a lot of people call the best team in West Virginia. That's got to give you a good outlook on your squad, right?
Yeah. That was a sloppy game for us. I think it was where it was like really early, but came out on top. So
still come out on top, and that's something that when you was over at Tulsa, that's something you would have probably never dreamed of, beating Shady Spring, right?
Yeah, I'd probably dread going up against them, but Tulsa team, we'd still fight until the buzzer sounded. So,
and then y'all ended up playing that Parkersburg South team. They was a very physical team. That was the one team that I think may have been more physical than Martin County, and I seen that gave y'all a little issue when you run up against a team that was more physical.
Yeah, they were really physical. I mean, they was grabbing jerseys, elbowing, and
it was hard to it was hard to see, because you guys are super physical, and as you mentioned, to me, I think what makes Martin County so special is Martin County has 2 athletes that are freakishly better than any other option that any other program in the region has. You and Devin Maynard are freaks, and night in, night out, that's going to be hard to deal with. Teams are going to coaches are going to have to come up with a good game plan to knock you guys off.
Yeah.
So Parker, as you're sitting here, I'm going to ask you a couple fan questions that some of the fans are wanting to know. Favorite NBA player?
Anthony Edwards.
Okay. Favorite artist?
Like music artist?
Yeah. What's on your playlist?
I don't really know. I like Keisha Cole.
Okay.
There we go. Okay.
Yeah. There you go. So Parker's a romancer too.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
smooth cat.
Yeah, smooth operator on the court and off the court. So Parker, the favorite vehicle. What's your dream vehicle? Put it that way.
EMC 2500.
Okay. Yeah. Now, if you could go to any college, if somebody said, Parker, this school is going to offer you, what's your dream school?
Tennessee University.
Oh, okay. Well, I would hate to see you in that orange. I'm a diehard Kentucky fan, so I would not want that, Parker. But I would be really happy for you if it happens. But if there's one sport that you don't play that you think you could play and be successful at, what would it be?
Probably baseball.
Okay. Now you do know Martin County has a bass fishing team, right?
Yeah, I've heard about it.
Bryson Dawes, he's got a question. He said, "How is your love life, Parker?" Your teammate putting you. I ain't trying to hang you out to dry.
Complicated.
Complicated. All right, good answer. Now, as you're moving forward, this is last question. I'll let you go. After what you've seen in Summer League and what your team accomplished, what is the one thing that your team has to get better at if you guys are going to win at a very high level?
Sometimes we get in the habit of just one pass and go. I'm probably the worst on the team for it. But we get in the habit of just one pass to go, shoot, whatever. We just got to come to the realization that if we swing and swing and swing, we're gonna get the open man.
Yeah.
And then bug it. And I think being a little more aggressive on the, because the Parkersburg South game down there at Marshall, they got a little aggressive, and then we kind of sunk a little bit.
Yeah.
And then when it was too late, we started picking it back up. And so
Parker, I love that you're honest in that answer there, because and that you see your own flaws. I know your parents are as hard on you as anybody, and when you take and talk about that, that's one thing I seen in Martin County. Like, you got to pick your defense up, because this team, you guys could be very special, be a highlight show waiting to happen in transition. Only way to do that is force turnovers. But on the offensive end, that's one thing that I think too. I think, what players got to realize is, there's 5 players on that team. All of them can score. And what that's going to make your job easier is when you get that pass on the backside, that's when you're going to get the alley-oops, the easy dunks, because the ball is moving, defense is out of position, and when that ball does come to you on the backside, then you got a wide open lane to attack, because the defense is out of position, to where when you get that first pass, you got 2 guys that's closing in on you, and then you're trying to take a high difficulty shot over 2 guys. It just makes things a lot easier. So I love that you're honest and you see what you need to work on.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing, right now, and I know, we talked about Martin County. You got a lot of Tulsa fans tuning in too. What's the one thing that you're going to miss about Tulsa the most?
I don't know how Martin County's community is yet. I haven't been over there in the community that long, but Tulsa's community, it's hard to beat. Everyone over there, it's like all family. It's like, if you need help, they're there. You know what I mean? So I'm definitely going to miss that about the Tulsa side.
I can promise you, Martin County won't let you down. Martin County, they're the same way. They're one community that roots. You'll be a rock star in Inez, and the good thing about it is each and every game, there's going to be an incredible crowd sitting there watching you play. So that's the one thing that you got to look forward to, is every night there's going to be a packed house. So, Parker, want to wish you the best of luck. Want to thank you for joining us here on the D&D Sports Network morning startup show. And we'll come get up with you here in the next few weeks. And we'll do a sit down segment with you to where maybe we can get you to play some hoops with JJ.
Absolutely. Just don't dunk on me.
That'll be quite easy. The JJ, with your 5'2" frame.
Wait, hold on now. Add a couple more inches to that now. Come on.
But we're going to take Parker, let you go, but I wish you the best, and I hope you accomplish everything that you set out to accomplish in this game, because you are one special player. So, we look forward to covering you in the future. And once again, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Drug today and let them fill your prescription. Eric Holman Drug has been serving the Chapmanville community for over 46 years. They're a proud supporter of the Chapmanville Tigers and all mountain athletes.
Walters Kia. By now, you know Kia is a great vehicle, and you know they come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. So why should you buy from Bruce Walters Kia? At Bruce Walters Kia, we're going to change your oil for free for life. And what you do with that money you save is up to you. Come check out the 2022 Kia Carnival and the 2021 Kia Sorento. Only at Bruce Walters Kia in Pikeville. Or shop us online at brucewalterskia.com.
Oceana Discount Tobacco today. Nobody can beat Oceana Discount Tobacco's great prices or their great services. You're treated like family from the second you walk through the door. We want to thank Oceana Discount Tobacco for sponsoring today's events. Go follow them on Facebook.
And we're here on the D&D Sports Network morning startup show with JJ Pruitt and Darryl McCoy. Got a great show going on so far. Comments coming in left and right. But before we get to them, we want to thank our friends at Double Quick. Get it on the double at Double Quick. JJ, you cannot come to a ball game on Pond Creek and not stop and get a pizza roll.
Absolutely. And that was one of my go-to places whenever I was a kid and I was at Belfry. So yeah, I completely, can't disagree with that at all.
Definitely want to thank Parker Watts for joining us. Amazing interview. Just a great kid.
Absolute killer.
Yeah. So let's get to some of the comments here. Said, let's see. We got Jimmy Johnson says best thing about the fairs are music, food, rides, and the atmosphere. Justin Maynard says, morning, guys. I have a question. What do you think about Bronny James to the Lakers, and how does it work? Justin, we spoke about that in the first segment. I don't want to go too far back into it, so when the show's over, rewatch it. But just my short answer is that was the only people that was going to take him, and I don't mind it. I don't think it's, I think it'll work because it'll sell tickets and they won't be any pressure until LeBron tries to force him into the lineup over, one of the players that should be playing.
Absolutely. And I couldn't agree with Darryl even more. A good business decision.
Yep.
That's about the best way I can put it.
Lauren and Eric Evans says, do you remember when they used to have the Autumn Jam in Pikeville? That was awesome. I do. There was it was called something else, wasn't it? There at the end, I think they changed it to something else, and they don't have it anymore. And I used to like when they used to have the drag races down in front of the jail there. That was the whole purpose of spending all that money to concrete them bleachers in front of the prison, is so they could drag race and stuff right there. But I ain't seen them do that in a long time. Jimmy Johnson says, yes, the mirrors were awesome from the fairs. Billy Davis says, Rupp Arena, baby, that's where we're going. Barb Dial says, awesome player. Christy Watts says he loves to dance. Oh, we did not get a hit on that. Said Michael Shepard says, one of the best kids ever. I love this kid. Justin Maynard says, Martin County going to be a force this year. And Zach Callahan says, absolutely. So, a lot of people, that struck a lot of fans cheering for Parker Watts right now and rooting for that highlight show that is going to be put on in Inez this season.
Absolutely. And, that could be a new nickname for him, like the human highlight film, like Dominique Wilkins back in the day. That's pretty much what he is, a human highlight pretty much. Now,
he's Mr. Elevator Man. As Sue Cat tuning in says, morning, fellas. Sue Cat, we're going to have to get you. You're always an hour late. So we're going to have to get Sue Cat's alarm clock turned on a little bit earlier. Sue Cat is one of our best supporters. She's like family to us. You'll get to know her, JJ. It's always a party when Sue Cat's in the house.
Well, I look forward to meeting her maybe sometime.
Yeah. So I want to tell you about what's up this weekend for me. I was reached out to last week by the Women's Athletic Basketball Association league president, and I have to go to Lexington this weekend and interview the OPB Swish, which is the newest team in the WABA association. So I am very excited for you fans to get to learn about this league and to get to meet some of the players. And as I said, there's big names all over this roster. I mean, Victoria Dunlap, Michaela Epps, Carla Booth, Dina Gerald. I think Michaela Stacy is on it. So, this roster, you guys will definitely want to tune in Sunday for this interview and sit down with the OPB Swish basketball team.
Absolutely. And I couldn't be more excited for the opportunity to cover some women's basketball in the future. Like, I'm really happy that, you was able to get a deal for us to be able to cover, their new sports league.
Yeah. Sukat says, hey, I'm always around JJ. That's me too. I'm always around. Sukat, she's over at Phelps. You'll see her a ton. She's a big supporter of Phelps and Johnson Central. She supports all athletes, but you'll enjoy her. But now this Women's Athletic Basketball Association, I've not been as excited about anything as I am covering OPB Swish and being selected as the sports network that is going to bring you the semi-pro basketball. This is a huge opportunity for girls basketball players here in the mountains, because you got when you take a look, this gives the girls a dream and a dream that's achievable. They see Dina Gerald, they see Carla Booth, they see Michaela Stacy, they see people that they've known and grown up with doing it. So they know that, hey, there's life after college for me. I can take this basketball thing somewhere. And then you take a look at, I think there's like 190 players or something like that that's played out of this league, that's played overseas and makes a living at playing ball. So a lot of opportunity with this WABA series and the OPB Swish coming to the mountains.
Absolutely. And to point something out, like, one thing that's good about this is they don't have to go overseas anymore to, be able to play in a league.
Yeah. That's what I like, and there's more teams in this league than there is the WNBA actually. So, a lot of females are looking to the WABA, to pursue their, post-college career and to play ball, at a semi-pro professional level.
Absolutely. And all it takes is maybe one or two good players to, make the league take off. Like,
Yeah.
If you look right now, the WNBA has two specific ones that's really, bringing eyes to the league, and that's all that this league is going to need.
Yeah. JJ, I know you. JJ's a big music fan. JJ, yesterday, all you wanted to talk about on the car ride to Logan was, Post Malone has a new country album. Who is your favorite artist, JJ?
My favorite artist? Oh, it depends on the genre of music that we're talking. I mean, if we're going, rap.
Well, let me ask you this: if you were stuck in a coal mines for the rest of your life, and you could only take one CD with you, what CD would it be? Jesus,
that's a tough one. It would have to be a compilation album, but let's see. I'm a big Michael Jackson fan. I love Prince. Any 90s R&B, 2000s R&B.
No, you only get one CD to take with you. What is it?
Lord. Man, you put me on the spot. Oh, Jesus. I'll go Thriller.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's not a bad one. I'm probably going to go with what was the probably Keith Whitley's Greatest Hits.
That's another good one.
Yeah, I'll probably take that, or the Creedence Clearwater Revival. The double CD was great. Maybe some Conway Twitty, Earl Thomas Conley. Something along them lines. Maybe Hank. But
Hold on, you only get one. Remember?
Yeah, it would be one of them, but
yeah,
but you talking about artists that's going to different genres. Post Malone going to country. Will he have success on the countryside?
I think that he will. I mean, if you look at his resume, I mean, he's got more diamond records than anybody in history. I think that he has 9. And for those out there that don't know, like in order to get a diamond certification, you have to sell at least 10 million copies. So for him to have 9 different songs that have sold 10 million copies apiece, I mean, that just goes to show that, he doesn't put out many records that are bad. So whatever he's going to put out is going to be something that's going to sell a lot of records, and the quality of it's probably going to be really good as well.
Sukat says she'd take CCR, so she's a Creedence fan too. So so if I'm trying to think, other examples of singers that went from one genre to the other and had a lot of success. The one that comes to my mind is Darius Rucker from Hootie and the Blowfish.
Oh yes, what was?
Wagon Wheel, and
he's a singer from the '90s, right?
Yeah. You don't remember Hootie and the Blowfish?
I mean, I remember some of their records, but I don't remember many of them.
Don't remember? I only want to be with you.
I only want to be with you. That was Hootie and the Blowfish. Okay.
Yeah. And I think when Dolphins Cry, that was a good one. I was a big Hootie and the Blowfish fan. But can you think of any others where artists have went from one genre to the other and had success?
Kid Rock. He would probably be one of the ones that stand out the most to me.
He didn't really, stay in country. He had that one song.
Yeah, which he got a lot of credit for being like the first big country rap artist. So whenever he first came out, I think it was 1999 or 2000. It wasn't his first album because I know he had one earlier than that. But the Devil Without a Cause album was like the one that really made him take off. But then, when he started doing the songs like I'll Put Your Picture Away and things like that, like I think that he did a really good job of mixing, rap with, country as well. So I don't know if you would count him, but he would be one of the first ones that would stand out to me that made the transition.
Well, you got comments flying in. Sukat says she loves Darius Rucker. Andrew Evans says Post Malone is going from rap to country and killing it. And she also says, yep, Kid Rock did it and did it well. So I'm trying to think if there was any more, that went at a major level, or if there was ever any country singers that went to a different genre and had success. That would be.
I know there's been artists that have mixed songs, like genres together, like country and rap.
Like
but
Tim McGraw and Nelly and
like Nelly did a terrific job in the early 2000s. He had this song with Tim McGraw, like it was called. I think about it's all in my head. I think about it over and over again. Like
that's what I just said.
Yeah. I remember at that time, like that was a big deal because that was unheard of.
Yeah. But that would be, I can't remember. I mean, I'm sitting here racking my head. I'll try to think. Maybe somebody in the comment section can think. We see. Said It Was Just a Dream was the name of that song. And but I really don't know. I know Willie's done some songs with some people, but I can't remember another instance where singers went to a different genre and had success.
I may have. What about Bob Dylan? Wasn't he originally like a folk singer, and then he was like, there was a big thing back in the day where he finally used the electric guitar for the first time. He was usually an acoustic kind of guy, and then he transitioned from acoustic to, the electric guitar. Would you consider that?
No.
Transit? You wouldn't consider that? Okay.
No, but Sukat has a great example in this. Yes, I did know this. Kenny Rogers first album or first band was called Edition from the late 60s or late 60s, early 70s. And they sung a lot of psychedelic music. I did know this, and he ended up coming to country and being a star. So yeah, that would be a great example.
Yeah, that was one that I wasn't familiar with.
Yeah. So trying to think. I guess the other ones. Trying to think if there was ever any women. I know Dolly. Ain't Dolly coming out with a rock album?
I'm not sure.
I think so.
I didn't know she was still recording.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I seen where Dolly was coming out with a rock album. But either way, that's something you folks at home think about that, and then let us know tomorrow on the comment section if you guys can come up with any better examples than what we did. But guys, it's come to that point. We want to thank everybody. This wraps up the first week of the D&D Sports Network morning startup show. We hope we have delivered, and we hope you guys enjoy this show, and it gives you another option to start your morning with. You can watch us on Facebook or YouTube, and also on dndsports.com. You can watch it on all three, and so you can put it on your TV, you can watch it on your cell phone, any way you would like. But we hope you guys continue to come sit with us in the mornings and start your morning off with us here, as hopefully we can all learn things together. We can talk about issues, and this just be a laid back show that everybody enjoys, JJ. But after the first week's wrapped up, the thing I'm most proud about is how many women supporters we got. We got it lit. If you can get the women in here on a sports show, then you're doing something right.
Well, I really appreciate the opportunity. Again, it's my first week of training, officially my first full week. So, feel free to give me any comments in the comments section to let me know how I'm doing and what I can do to be better for you guys.
Sukat Lester said I'll be on time next week. Said enjoy the weekend, guys. So we're gonna hold you to it at 8, at least by 8:10. We want to see you online, Sukat. Guys, if there's any topics you want to cover, make sure you send them to us. And I'm very excited. Make sure Sunday you tune in for the interview with the OPB Swish. We will be in Lexington live with the OPB Swish basketball team. Hopefully teach you guys a little bit about the league and more. And then JJ, on Monday, we'll talk about my experience this weekend. So JJ, your homework for the weekend is watch the Eric C. Kahn documentary. We'll talk about that on Monday.
Absolutely. I'm really looking forward to watching it.
For JJ Pruitt and Darryl McCoy here on the Morning Startup Show, we got to get to work, do the real work. We'll be in the Logan area doing sales. So if you own a business and you want to grow your business in front of thousands, make sure you shoot us a message. We'll stop by and see you. But till next week, so long and have a good weekend.